Yep, there it goes. Thank you all for being here today and learning about Sankofa Rising, Awaken Your Inner Warrior retreat, ayahuasca retreat. This is going to be a 6 month and beyond transformational journey, and I'm excited to tell you about it. So, welcome. Thank you for being here. Whether you are curious, nervous, excited, or unsure, you are in the perfect place. This conversation is about healing, returning to yourself, and choosing a new chapter of your life with intention. So, why we're here to learn about ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is typically grown in Peru, but it's also cultivated in various traditions all over the world. In Colombia, it's called yage. In Mexico, it's called tepescoite, but it's most commonly known as ayahuasca. And each strain does its own different thing. The strain that we do when we go to Mexico is called tepescoite. But I'm curious, what are some things you've heard about ayahuasca, and what brings you to this meeting? Anybody can answer.
Shall I go first?
Sure.
Okay. So I did a little bit. It's interesting. I've seen a video floating around on social media about a year and a half ago. I don't want to say it's been 2 years, but I'm not sure if it's the ayahuasca, but it was a similar get down where they took a plant and it was a medicine and it kind of brought them to this place or space spiritually and where they spoke to ancestors or I'm not sure if they call it mother something, I'm not too sure, but me personally, I went through a season of awakening towards the end of 2024. I felt it before I knew it. I just felt like all the environments that I used to dwell in, it was one of those. I couldn't even flirt around with the idea of being there. It just, my spirit was, and it was everything that I was comfortable with, all of a sudden could not stand. And I didn't understand. But I knew that I was going through a difficult time. So I understood that it was connected and that obviously whatever crisis I was in was for a reason. And that maybe, I don't want to go through this again. So I definitely should do better with certain environments and certain habits. Um, and so I got through that, right? 2025 was a lot of shedding. It's interesting that you mentioned that. But because of that awakening, there was a lot of shedding that took place, and it was a lot of grief to where I had to go through that season. And my friend Dee here, we met a couple months back, and I always felt connected to this young lady here. She always had a quiet sense of power about her and almost like purpose. And I just felt that connection. Um, yeah, so she mentioned the ayahuasca, and it piqued my ears. It's still very new to me. But yeah, it's perfect timing that like I feel more grounded. I'm still healing. I'm still going through that whole process, but it's now that the emotion has subsided, there's more clarity.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
sharing. That's a
no problem.
beautiful journey that you were describing. And yes, D is like definitely the best. So that's cool that you guys met. And I love the alignment, like you mentioned earlier, like the shedding and now like this new season's about rebirth. So it's like definitely on alignment. Thank you so much.
No
Um,
problem.
does anybody else want to share what they've heard about ayahuasca? If not, it's cool.
I was just gonna say that I was part of the first cohort. That's so crazy to think that we're doing this again with another group of people. I'm excited. Yes, I just attended the retreat that happened in October. Still trying to find the words and everything to describe what I experienced, but it was necessary. I agree that 2025 was definitely a year of shedding. And yeah, I had always felt drawn to the medicine, but really didn't know much past what I saw on my YouTube videos and like hear passerby videos and stuff. But um Kiara is the one who she told me about her experience first. And that's what kind of sent me on that rabbit hole. And she was like, well, I want to plan a trip. I want to try and plan a retreat. And I was like, count me in. And then like a year or two later, we were doing it. So yeah, it was awesome. I highly recommend it if the medicine is calling you.
Thank you, Linda. I'm curious though, what did you see online about ayahuasca when you were doing your deep dives?
Man, I saw a bunch of, I don't think, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, it wasn't up until leading up to it that I saw any people that look like us taking the medicine. So
Mm.
I saw a lot of people who didn't look like us going out into the jungle and, doing their vlogs and throwing up and thrashing around and doing crazy stuff. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. But still open because at this point, like, I had been introduced to plant medicine for a while, so I was open to what the experience had to entail. But it really was just a lot of people just going out into the jungle, and they would usually be with um shamans, either like in a big group or just in a smaller setting. And some of them would do the combo before as well, and they would just vlog their experience and talk about what doors were opened and what they experienced. But I don't think I ever saw videos about like what integration looks like for anybody, and that was something that was super important, I feel like, to see. But I didn't really see any of that.
That part. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing
Yes,
that
Of
important
course.
piece of information.
Yeah.
absolutely. So well, Linda and I both, we did it last year. We met Kara, I think the year before that, at Sasaya's retreat. So we all connected and we stayed in touch. But for me personally, I think it's been about maybe like 3 years or so. It's popped up over time. And then the curiosity started twirling in my brain. So when Kiara said she was going to do another one, I was like, all right, well, keep me posted. And she did. And honestly, it's an experience that you can't really put into words. Um, because even with reintegration and doing the work, like it's a whole process. Um, I don't know, there's just so much. There's so much. And depending on how your experiences with the medicine, like, or what your journey is at ceremony, you'll find, I guess, throughout time, like, you'll find yourself replaying or maybe like recognizing certain things that became more, I guess, aware or readily available to you
Mm,
as you reintegrate or as you do the work after the ceremony.
mhm. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, B. And welcome to the people who recently joined. We're talking about what we've heard about ayahuasca from like media and different people. Um, but yeah, so as we kind of all mentioned, ayahuasca takes you to a whole nother realm. And there's a lot of information about it online. But the bottom line is that it's very, very powerful plant medicine. Um, I heard about it through what's that girl name? Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett. She did it multiple times, and that's when I heard about it, and I was like, "Okay, let me try it." I didn't do much research. I'm very impulsive, but I had a great experience, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. But many people say that when they do ayahuasca, they don't feel fully prepared. They don't know what to expect. They feel like they're not supported throughout the integration and the pre-integration process, as Dee and Linda mentioned. After the integration process is very important, and not having that support is kind of difficult. And then they also say they feel alone in their healing journey afterwards. So this retreat was created to change that whole narrative and change the stereotypes around ayahuasca. Linda mentioned that she saw people thrashing all over the ground. And I mean, of course, some people do, right? But that's not everybody's experience. If you go on YouTube, 90% of the stuff you see about ayahuasca is people thrashing around, talking about how they have like all these things inside of them. But, some people's experience, they was just laughing the whole time. They were crying the whole time. So it's all dependent upon your soul and what work you know that you have to do. Ayahuasca, Mama Aya, is very gentle with you. So my story, I did ayahuasca in Colombia in 2023, and we did 4 ceremonies. We did 2 nighttime, 2 daytime ceremonies, and it was a beautiful experience. But as Linda mentioned, not a lot of people there look like me. The people who did were my family, my mother and my aunt, who came along with me to try to do the ayahuasca because they also read the Jada Pinkett book. So it was definitely a great experience, but I didn't have that cultural connection with the people. I didn't feel comfortable sharing because I didn't feel like my story would have been received the way that it should have. So overall, it was a very beautiful experience. But I definitely learned that the way that I process things is extremely slowly. Like I'll hear a lesson from my ancestors, but I'll need very multiple reasons of validation before I actually listen to it. And because of that, on my fourth ayahuasca ceremony, I had no reaction at all. I didn't throw up. I didn't have like the high. I didn't have anything. It was just me just sitting there with my thumbs crossing, waiting for something to happen. But that was because my soul was overloaded with the experiences that I had the 3 previous times. So I knew that it was a life changing experience, but I also felt like that I needed some more support. Our shaman there, he didn't really speak um, any English, which was on me. I should have learned Spanish, but I couldn't talk to him and ask him questions about my journey. I definitely feel like I needed more guidance. I needed more of a community around me. I didn't feel like I could really explain what I was feeling. Even through the journaling, they gave us journals and everything. They had gave us journal prompts. We had group integration, but I still didn't get the support that I feel like I needed. So I knew I needed to go again, and I was going to go back to Colombia, but my spirit guides gave me a dream with Sister Yaya's face in it, and they basically told me to ask her about ayahuasca, and through that, we were able to create Sankofa Rising. So our pillars for this retreat is is a lot of structure around it. There's respect between everybody who's here. We've built a community, sisterhood, brotherhood. We feel protected to provide very important integration support, a community that you can grow with, and then cultural veneration. So we definitely harp on our ancestors and connecting with them because a lot of the things that we have that we're healing through is trauma that they gave us through 7 generations before. Um, yeah. So the meaning of Sankofa. Sankofa is a Ghanaian word meaning it's not taboo to go back and fetch what you left behind, which means it's important to return to your truth. You have the ability and the capability to reclaim the power that was taken from you. And the important thing about ayahuasca is that it helps you remember who you were before the world told you who you were. So you're reclaiming that joy that you had as a kid, your favorite things that you did as a kid. You're able to bring that with you as an adult and reparent yourself essentially. So this retreat is a return to yourself. The second part of our retreat is called Awakening the Inner Warrior, and that name was given to us by our abuelos, or the shamans, the Mayan shamans, at Centro Ceremonial Axaluj. And they're awesome. I'm going to go into them a little bit later, but it represents facing yourself. One thing that we talked about that Dee and Linda can attest to is truth and how important that is when you're looking at yourself and then moving through that truth, breaking the illusions that we've developed about why we can't change, the cycles that we've gone through, what we deserve and what we don't deserve as human beings, and then ultimately rising to your power. So this is not becoming a new person. People think when you do ayahuasca, it's like you're becoming a new person and you're this and you're that. No, it's just remembering who you always were. So you're just coming back to yourself. And that's what awakening that inner warrior is, that warrior that you've always had inside yourself. Before I move on, are there any questions? I know I kind of talk fast. So, oh, okay. So this is a 6-month and beyond journey, like I mentioned. The 6-month program includes our monthly preparation sessions. We're going to do a group book club, the 4 agreements. That's a part of the curriculum that our abuelos created. We have to read that and watch 2 movies. If you don't, they get a little snippy about it. We didn't do our homework, and they were like, "What, you ain't do your homework?" We was like, "My bad, we ain't know." So I'm letting y'all know now. We got to do the 4 agreements. You have to read them, or else. They also give us emotion. We also provide emotional and spiritual preparation before. We help you create your intention. Any good ayahuasca retreat will tell you that when you do ayahuasca, you need to have an intention, a clear one to talk to Mama Aya, so that it's a conversation between you two, not just her looking for stuff to pull out of you. We also provide a support group for physical and dietary support. There's a dieta that a lot of retreats require that you do. It's very important to do a dieta because it helps your body purge any toxins so that when Mama Aya comes and talks with you, you just have to parse through all like the nasty stuff that we eat in the United States, like all of the preservatives that get stuck and lodged in us. So that's why people purge to remove all those impurities and physical toxins. So we provide dietary support, and then we have post-retreat integration, which Linda will lead. So to ensure you do not walk into the medicine feeling unprepared, that's essentially what this 6 month journey is for. And also to build community. So you're not just going into retreat with a bunch of strangers and them expecting you to share your whole life story. Like that was a little nerve wracking. That's something that I did when I went to Colombia. We had to share a whole life story. And I'm like, I don't know, y'all. And a lot of them weren't even from the States. So it was like, I don't even speak y'all language. So I don't know what to do. So yeah. So, in our monthly preparations, we talk about understanding shadow work and how to address it. We learn to identify mother and father wounds. We talk about nervous system grounding, especially with regards to psychedelics. Psychedelics take you outside yourself, so we talk about how to ground within that. Trauma awareness. Sometimes when my eye will bring up memories that you didn't think that you had, like stuff that you would block out. So we help you navigate those situations and like help you think about what those potentially could be. And then we also have a portion where where we teach you how to do energetic protection. As I mentioned, lifestyle and dietary adjustments. A big thing is ancestral and inner child exploration, and then learning how to navigate the ceremonial experiences. Our shamans do a great job of that already when you get there, but we kind of just prepare you a little bit for how to navigate their ceremony beforehand. So the retreat structure, day 1 through 4, is going to be our time with the shamans. We do very deep therapeutic exercises, uncovering truths, uncovering shadows, all the things. They also have integration circles where we talk about some of the stuff that's plaguing us. And then we do our combo ceremony. Combo is the poison of a frog that gets injected into your system, and that helps you purge any physical impurities. So it's intense, but it's pretty dope because you get to see like one thing that they did was they got to analyze our purging and basically how yellow it was or whatever color it was, it could tell us what we were actually holding on to. So it helped us release a lot of that stuff. So then after that, we do the ayahuasca ceremony, and that one is overnight. And it's a beautiful experience. I might ask Dee and Linda to share as we get into that portion about their experience. And then we do a lot of emotional, spiritual, and ancestral healing with the Temazcal, which is a Mayan sweat lodge. There's quartz pool therapy, and then our shamans are so caring and they just love us so much that they really provide like guided support every step of the way. Even when we were doing our combo as we were purging, they were rubbing our backs, talking to us, coaching us through what was going on. It's just like a very loving environment. So after those 4 days, we get transported into our integration home, which is a beachfront home with a pool. We have chef curated meals that are delicious. They cook whatever we want, and it's awesome. And then you have the option to get massages, and then you also have the option to do excursions, going to cenotes, doing a flamingo tour, Uxamal, which is a mine ruin tour. There's also going to be integration meetings and then art therapy as well. So the book club, the Four Agreements, it's very important that you read this book because a lot of the things that we talk about, people might take personally. The main thing that we learn from this book is not to take anything personally and not to assume. So reading this book is detrimental for actually going through the work that the shamans do for us while we're there. So this prepares the inner work before entering the spiritual one. So these are our partners. We have Nana Itza and Abuelo Pablo. They are married and they are shamans who guide us through the retreat experience, ayahuasca and combo experience. They are of traditional Mayan lineage, and they are going to be doing the combo, the Tepescohuite, as I mentioned, which is the Mexican strain of ayahuasca, and then those deep therapeutic exercises that uncover all the truths. We also have Sister Yaya from Soul Tribe Heals. She will be in charge of like retreat coordination, holistic support, and then post retreat, she is like that maternal figure that kind of seals the magic in afterwards because a lot of mother wounds come up, but she's kind of like that grounding force for us. And then I'm the representative of Plexus Herbs, which is like the pre-integration stuff, and then the herbal preparation, community holding. Yeah. So these are our partners. And then this is our integration team. We have Demetria, who's going to be on-site retreat integration support, smudging the home, making sure we got good food in the house, all the things. And we have Linda, who's going to be in charge of post-integration therapeutic session and support. So she's going to be leading our post-integration therapy sessions, which is like the most important part of the retreat. She's going to be helping us integrate back into our daily lives. And then we'll have Alexis, who's going to be like on both teams, pre-integration and post-integration support. She'll be there to fill in any gaps or any kind of issues that we have. She'll be there to help us with that. And all three of them went on the retreat this past year, so they know what to expect. They can give you guidance and all the things. So our retreat, any questions before I go to the next couple of slides? No? Okay. So our retreat location is in Progreso, Mexico. And Progreso is a beautiful place. It sits near the Chicxulub crater, which is the crater that destroyed the dinosaurs. So this crater is buried under layers and layers of earth. But when you step foot into this plane of earth, you kind of just feel like a reverberation, like a vibration of healing. The atmosphere feels so different. So it's definitely a great healing location. And then in Progreso, the Mayan culture, I know they try to tell us that it's gone, but it's well and alive there. So it influences all the local healing traditions. And the area, you can kind of just feel that everyone there is just happy and connected to nature, connected to themselves and their ancestral lineage. And then, so we'll also be experiencing in Progreso, there'll be natural cenotes, which are just like underground water caves. And they have so many different meanings there. Some people say that's where they bury the dead. Some people say that's where they connect with the heavens. But either way, it was very revered in the Mayan culture. And this is right here is an image of the cenotes. It's really cool. This is a pyramid at Uxamal Mayan ruin. And this is one of the excursions that we went on in October. We got to make like tortilla shells. It's pretty cool. Oh, and then food and nourishment. So during the ceremony, our shamans cook delicious meals for us, hearty meals. We were snacking all day, eating fresh fruit, vegetables, tea, coffee, whatever we wanted, they gave it to us. The cookies were bomb too. And then after the ceremony, as I mentioned, we'll have a professional chef and his wife come and cook delicious meals. They gave us chilaquiles. We had a bunch of soups. Yuca, they just fried fish. It was really good. The chefs came in and cooked lunch and dinner for us, and then we kind of came together and cooked breakfast. So all these meals are designed to help nourish our body after a long fasting, a long 4-day retreat. It's to fill us back up, yeah, emotionally and physically. So what people experienced. Some people walked away with clarity about their life, peace in their body, emotional release, purpose and direction, deeper relationship with themselves, but ultimately a lifelong community. Like we're locked in now after experiencing this. So you leave with a version of you that was waiting to surface. So Dee and Linda, if you guys want to share your stories about what you experienced, please feel free.
You want to go first, Linda? I was oh wait, okay, sidebar. I was
You
sitting
got it.
right next to
You got it.
and I just loved just seeing her. It was great. It was great. I think at least when it comes to the ceremony, for me, one of my biggest takeaways was learning how to be present. Um, and also knowing how to, in a way, transmute the energy, even if you don't know what you're doing. Like your body knows, it's in your DNA already. Um, those are just two things that I took away from the ceremony. And it did bring a lot of clarity. Getting past the, what is it? Getting past other people's shit that you've internalized, like, again, a lot of clarity. And you really start to come into yourself. And then that progresses even more, even after, which is really amazing. Um, But yeah, and then just being around with, just being in the same space with everyone, the vibration, the energy, just everything was so superb. It was honestly an amazing experience, but also doing it with other people, having that journey, going through the trials, going through everything was really, really amazing.
Oh, sorry, somebody was telling me that our dinner was done. But yes, D was right next to me, and I don't know if I told her this, but you definitely kept me grounded because there were so many moments where I felt like I was gonna lose my mind and I would roll over and I would just see D like swaying and so relaxed and so calm. And I was like, okay, I'm still good. I'm still in my body. So the fact that Alicia, you said she has a grounding, like just it's true. And she definitely kept me grounded just by her presence being there. But for me, I think I definitely experienced, and I think I know I definitely experienced an emotional release. Anger and fear are two that kept coming up that were all rooted in like childhood and come in, Journey. I'm coming. I'm coming. Thank you. Okay, you can close it though. Thank you. My little Journey. But yeah, anger and fear came up a lot, and a lot of it was tied to like mother and father wounds. And the biggest thing for me was, and I made this connection like, you gonna keep getting downloads. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll have a dream, months, weeks later, and I'm like, oh, that's it. But most recently, making that connection when we just started another book club reading the Fifth Agreement and talking about that programming and things that we were told or internalized, like for me was through my mother wound, believing that I couldn't do things on my own. Like I always needed someone there, somebody was going to be there to save me. And even if they weren't, you just stick in situations that are bad for you and hope that things will get better. And so I lost my sense of autonomy through that. And then the anger connected to my father wounds. During the combo, I had a vision of him leaving me and my mom. I don't know if that was like when they split up or what, but I had a vision of him leaving, and I just remember wanting him to come back and say something, even if he still decided to leave and he didn't. And so just releasing that anger and that fear and knowing that everything that I have and everything that I need is already within me. Nobody's coming to save me. I'm coming to save me because I'm coming to save me. Nobody's got me like I got me. And everything else that I get is just a blessing, right? All the connections, the family that I've created through these retreats and this ceremony is just icing on the cake. But I got me, so I'm good. And that was huge. So it definitely deepened my relationship with myself as well.
That's beautiful, Linda. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for sharing. Oh my God, I love that. Ooh,
It was scary though. I ain't gonna lie. It was scary trying to go through that, but that was the only way through it. That was the only way to come out on the other side. I had to go through it. So
yeah,
better for it.
period. Yeah, I definitely agree. This was like a lot harder than the first time I did ayahuasca because I felt like I really had to face myself. And one thing our abuelos told us is that Tepescoite, the strain of ayahuasca, is 9 times higher, 9 times potent than all the other ones. So each one does something different. Yage helps you kind of like get comfortable with yourself, and Tepescoite rips you a new one. So it's definitely for people who are ready to walk into a new chapter of their lives. Um, my experience, since it was technically the fifth time I did ayahuasca, it was more about me realizing my place in the universe. I had this beautiful vision of me, like as a baby, like we sit outside, so I was on the ground looking up at the stars, and it felt like I was underneath one of those like motor things that the babies have, and I was just laughing, and I was just so happy, and I was like, I'm a child of the universe, I'm a child of God. Like I felt like I understood how imperfect I am and that it's okay to be imperfect because I'm definitely or was a perfectionist. So mine was definitely about releasing the notion of control with myself and me being a part of the universe. I try to control everything. So that was my last and final takeaway. But I keep having so many different revelations. So I could say, so many different things. But yeah. Um, do you guys have any questions for Linda and Dee about their experience? Anything that you've seen online that's like, is that real? Um,
I do have a question. So I see that I'm not sure, Dee, if you're going to be helping out around the house or if you're actually going to go through the ceremony again. But that's news to me that you can go through it multiple times. So is there a limit as to how many times you could do it?
Mm-mm,
Oh, wow.
mm-mm. No.
And you get something. So like for years, for example, where like you said that there was one year where you were good. You didn't get really any um experience. Does that mean to kind of hold off or, you know?
So I guess I took it as so I it was all in 1 week that I did 4 different experiences, 4 different ceremonies.
Oh.
Yeah, so the first one was just, like, letting me know what my overall what was holding me back essentially, and then each one after that was uncovering layers as to, like, where that trauma came from, and then, like,
Mm.
understanding, like, how what the third one was, like, where in my life is it blocking, and then the fourth one was like, "Girl, you got too much information. Process that before you go to the next thing."
Wow, love
Yeah,
that. I love that there's a
so
sense of control, you know? That's cool.
yeah. Yeah, Mama Aya is, like, a grandmother for real. Like, a grandmother, you go into her house and she'd be like, "Did you eat? Eat something because I know that you're hungry. Okay, you ate too much. Stop that." Like, it's like that kind of like connection with an elder. That's really what it's like.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for your
And I was
question.
gonna oh, go ahead, Dee.
To during ceremony, kind of like what Kara was explaining, like Maya is really
You breaking up D.
it might get a little loud. Can you hear me better?
A little bit.
I don't know, but okay. So, maybe is it better?
A
Yeah,
little
no.
bit.
Oh Lord. Okay. Hopefully you could hear this, but
It's perfect.
um, so when it comes to the ceremony, because I had 2 doses, and usually your body would tell you like, okay, one is enough, or if you need another, then your body will be like, okay, like you know what, you can take another. So it's just again kind of like that grandmom, like you haven't eaten enough, keep going, or just someone motivating you to keep going, because through that one you're kind of pushing yourself, but also you're surrendering to the
Mm,
medicine, which is important because if you don't surrender, your journey is not going to be what you may think it is, but also it will show you that, hey, you still have a lot of work to do. You still need to get comfortable with being vulnerable and to go through the process.
thank you, D. Did you have something to share, Linda?
I was just gonna say I remember reading, like before we did the retreat, like there are some communities in I think it was in like Brazil or something where they do it like a couple times a month as a
Mhm,
sacrament and at like their church, I think, or wherever they gather. And I was like, oh my gosh,
mhm.
like, but I'm sure that it's something that's a part of their culture. And I was like, that was really interesting to me. I don't think I'm ready to do that again or could do it multiple times a month, but
Mm. Yeah, when I was in Colombia, it was a family that ran the retreat. So they had 2 young boys and it was like a husband and a wife. And they say in order to be in ceremony, you have to do ayahuasca. And they did ceremonies like 4 or 5 times a month. And then they also give their little kids, their children who were like 5 and 2 or something, they gave them the ayahuasca medicine too, like a small dose. So yeah, it's something that they kind of just do all the time. And like once you do it multiple times, you don't need a huge dose to feel the effects of it. So that's pretty cool too. Yeah, I'm gonna call Lachey out because Lachey was gonna come this year, but wasn't able to. So Lachey, do you have any questions about anything since you'll be going this year?
No, I don't have any questions. Not that I can think of. I guess because I went through the whole process with you guys already, so I'm pretty much up to date on everything, I guess.
Okay.
Um, so no, I don't have any questions. I'm just here just to see what's going on and, you know, pretty much get a what do you call it? Like, like when you go over something again.
Or like
Uh,
overview.
yeah, like an overview. So that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. It's good to hear your voice. So, for this retreat, what's included is 6 months of preparation meetings, recording of all the pre-integration meetings, 4-day medicine immersion with the shamans, 4-day post-retreat integration and accommodations. Um, then the meals, integration support. We have like a group chat that we talk through, and then complimentary transportation, and then the post-integration meetings, which are led by Linda. And then this community that is like your family now. We ain't like you ain't got a choice, man. Once you join the retreat, you locked in. So who is this for? This program is for people who feel the call, have been feeling like stuck, or people who are willing to do the inner work, people who need structure for healing and guidance, people who are ready to transform to that new phase in life. This is not for people who are just looking for a psychedelic experience. If that's the case, do some shrooms, do some weed. That's fine. But this ayahuasca, you can't. And then it's also for people who are seeking spiritual evolution. This might not be right fit for you if you just want a quick emotional high. You're unwilling to look at yourself truthfully. You don't want accountability or you lack accountability, and you're not ready to, be held accountable by others. And you're not ready to deal with some of your traumas. Truth is extremely a part of this healing process. Um, yeah. So the retreat timeline. The registration for this retreat is open, and the registration ends March 31st. You'll receive your pre-retreat handbook April 10th. We will give you the guidelines for the retreat pre-integration sessions, along with some herbs and the Four Agreements book. You'll have your monthly meetings and book club. They start the week of April 12th, and then we'll have our group dieta, which starts September 1st. And then our plant journey medicine will be in Mexico starting April 18th through the 26th. And then we'll have our post integration sessions starting in November. Okay. So before I go to this part, does anybody have any questions about anything? Okay, cool. So to secure your spot, you'll need a $400 deposit, and then the pricing changes depending on your room preference. But the spaces, we're planning to have 10 people. We're trying to keep it small to limit the to protect the integrity of the work because the shamans really do a lot for us. And so having a lot of people, you won't get that one-on-one time that you need. So yeah. So thank you so much for coming. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at plexusherbs@gmail.com or message me on Instagram. Sankofa Rising. You can text or call me. And then I put in the chat the interest form that you just need to fill out so we have some information for you so you can get the ball rolling on your registration. Any other questions about anything?
I had a question. So, will you be able to provide deadlines as to when the deposit is due and like the travel fees and whatnot?
Yeah, so the deposit will be due by March 31st, and then the whole retreat will need to be paid for at least 60 days before the actual retreat, which is October 19th. So August 19th will be when the full retreat will need to be paid in full.
Got you. Thank you.
hmm Thank you. So yeah, our next cohort begins April 2026. We'll be doing a whole lot of work together, but it's going to be so healing. Um, yeah, so let me know if you have any other questions about the pre-integration sessions, anything. Please just feel free to reach out to me. As soon as you register, we'll add you to our group chat and just give you all the stuff that you need to make sure that you're successful in this journey. All right. Yeah, I'm excited too, D. Mhm. Alrighty. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Yeah, I hope you have this information. I check pretty much all of them every day. So just hit me up.
Thank you, ladies, so much. This was
Thank you.
amazing. You guys have a
Bye.
great night.
You too.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Lachey.
Bye.
All right. I'm gonna thank y'all for coming tonight.
Bye. I'm gonna go get me some dinner.
Yay.
Bye, y'all. Have a good night.
You
You
too.
too.
Thank you, D. What you eating?
Yeah. Snack, apples and almond butter.
Love it.